Besides the Acadian people, there are many different groups of people that have made South Louisiana their home. One example is Vietnamese people. Most ended up in South Louisiana during or after the Vietnam War. Both Andrew and Kim's parents sought refuge during the Vietnam War. They were in the Philippines for a short while before making the trip to America. They chose to live in South Louisiana because the temperature and the culture are similar to what they had in Vietnam.
Down in Cajun culture specifically, because I live in Baton Rouge, I don't really see many people talk about their families a lot, but people from Homa, Chauvin, it's they love their family, and that's how it is with the Vietnamese too.
I think definitely from what I've seen growing up, there is a big emphasis on family down here and more of a community, and that's definitely something I see huge in Asian culture too. We really are imprinted in our minds family comes first, and growing up and just so a lot of my friends have that same exact belief. I think that's the biggest similarity, and also people just like to hang out here too, in big groups. That's also we do that all the time.
I think everyone is also nice to just come home and people just oh, how's your day? How's this going? Do you want to just go out this weekend? Let's go fishing. And it's very chill. I don't want to go fishing every weekend, but it's yes, there is nothing to do, but it's very much a nice break from the hustle of I'm in college, I have to do all this, or I'm at work, I'm so busy and all this stuff. And then
while there are similarities between the two cultures, there are many differences.
I think we respect our elders a lot. I don't know if it's really like that in Cajun culture, but we do really respect our elders and stuff.
I know in Vietnam they're also very more superstitious, and my parents, they tell me about that kind of stuff, but they don't really want that to really take over how I think about things. So
maybe language too. Not many people have to speak two languages here unless they have Cajun French, but that's kind of outdated now. But not many people are bilingual, so they don't understand the struggle of communicating to your parents, because I speak English but my Vietnamese sucks,
there's a lot of differences, but not much adjusting since I was born here, and not too much is different, besides I guess the biggest difference is someone comes to my house and we might eat different food, and we might have to take our shoes off before we go in the house, stuff like that, but not a drastic change in my opinion.
I don't know, I can't really say any similarities or differences because I am in between. It's not I was brought over with so much Vietnamese and it was a culture shock. I don't know, it's very much I grew up half and half.
There are even differences between parents that immigrated here and their children who grew up here.
The difference is in Vietnam you were made to make kids so that they could work, but in America it's oh, we already have that, just do whatever you want, kids, just. So I go to school, only me and my brother, only 2 siblings. An interesting thing though is music really stands out to them, because I love music, of course, but for them it's they talk about music. It's oh wow, this song came on right when I came to America. So it's I don't know, they didn't understand much, but they understand oh, music is cool, and they remember oh yeah, Cyndi Lauper sang this song right when I came to America. So I don't know, pretty interesting.
Kim and Andrew's parents know basic English, but Andrew's parents need his help understanding English at important meetings and visits.
I find a big role within my whole family, not just my parents, because I'll go to with them to doctor's visits, to I help read over important paperwork and do things like that, where my dad can speak good enough English to, if I wasn't here, he could definitely he'll be fine, but there's a lot of I help him out a little the fine print stuff, or stuff that especially medical stuff, where they might use terms that I don't expect him to ever hear in everyday life, so there's no way he'll know what they're talking about. So I feel I play a pretty big role, and it's actually really important for me to stay on top of not kind of losing the Vietnamese language.
Both of their fathers are crab fishermen. In Vietnam, most jobs are based on physical labor. The seafood industry is a for fun activity in Vietnam. But when they got here, it was the only thing they knew, so that's what they did.
Yeah, a lot of them who are also Vietnamese crabbers down here like share a dock, coincidentally, because I guess one person found it and they told someone else, and then so they all like I've been at the dock before, and basically everyone that had docked their boat there was also Vietnamese crabbers.
We don't talk English too much. If you work in company, you talk every day. The people, you learn the English fast. But if you go by craft, you go by yourself in the ocean, you don't talk nothing. Crab, they don't speak.
They have seen the effects of environmental issues on the area.
There was the BP oil spill in 2010 that affected a lot. That affected a lot of communities and stuff. It put my dad out of work because it like destroyed his crab traps and stuff. Or of course hurricanes do too, because where he sets his trap is like way out in the water, so it like washes them all away, lose profit, stuff like that.
And they, like everyone else in Chauvin, were affected by Hurricane Ida.
Yeah, we got hurricane. We got right now. We lost all the trap. The house damaged. We didn't fix yet. Yeah, we stay home about almost 6 months. We didn't go back to work yet.
Since they were born in America, Kim and Andrew have missed parts of Vietnamese culture.
Let's see. I think the hardest part was maybe finding other people to share with, because the only people were like my family, of course my family, we have so much in common, we're blood related, but like outside of that I could never talk about like, oh yeah, I went to the temple and we had like a New Year celebration, but like nobody understood that, or like, oh, I had my favorite dish the other day and it was this.
I honestly didn't even really know that there are that many Vietnamese people at Nichols until I met someone through, we were on the esports team together, and he was also Vietnamese, and he also is like kind of like my situation where he's more connected with his culture, and he's like also fluent, so we would talk to each other in Vietnamese sometimes, and he would like tell me about, he's like, oh, do you know blanket blank, and there's like other Vietnamese students at Nichols, and I just had no idea that there were even that many.
Although they don't live there, Andrew and Kim have found ways to stay connected to their Vietnamese culture here.
I think that I know like some of my family who's also Vietnamese, like they lost some aspects where like they aren't fluent in the language anymore. But I think that my parents did a really like good job in trying to keep me still like connected to Vietnamese culture. Like they involved me with a lot of stuff, anything where it comes to like the language, to like rituals, beliefs, anything like that. Like they make sure that I understand and I'm informed about it. But anything besides that, like if we're talking about like Cajun culture, I still learn so much stuff because like my friends would talk to me and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know you guys did that, you know. But that I just kind of stay connected that way.
Yeah, and it's really nice because I never had that in high school. Like it was always like white people, American people, Cajun people, but like never anyone that I could share with. I was like, oh, Vietnamese stuff, except like my cousins, because that's all we had.
Well, I didn't even know until recently that like Louisiana actually has like a really large Vietnamese population in comparison to like other places in the U.S. And I know for us like a big deal is Lunar New Year's, and like growing up, like we always celebrate within the family, but I didn't realize like places like New Orleans do like enormous celebrations where like people will come from like even different states to go there, and they kind of like do some of the like celebratory like customs that are done like in Vietnam, where we kind of just like celebrate the day and do like small rituals and stuff like that. They hold like a, not like a parade, but something like that where it's a huge event.
Overall, there are some similarities in the culture, and that's why my parents chose to live here. But of course, I do miss a lot of aspects of just being a pure like Vietnamese kid, because I am Vietnamese American. You know, it's like not quite American, not quite Vietnamese, like that mix. But there's also a community of people that are the same way as me, so I do fit in somewhere.